Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, thank you.
Just a powerful, powerful Sunday it was indeed. How was the service today?
The service was as usual. It was, first of all, it was enlightening. You know, every time I come here, no matter how many times I've been in the presence of God via being in Fire Nation Arena, I always learn something new, and that's why I say it was enlightening. But aside from learning something new, you know, aside from the knowledge aspect, there's also the practical aspect of the ministrations that God performs through our spiritual father, Dr. Elijah Kofi King. So it's like a double-edged sword. You get the knowledge, then you also get the active ministration, and we're beneficiaries of that ministration every week when we come through on Sunday.
Wow, wow. So for how long have you been a follower of this ministry?
Okay, so I've followed this ministry from October 2017, if I'm not mistaken, sometime in 2017. I think that's close to 5 years now, or just under 5 years.
Wow, wow. How has the ministry of the man of God, like his sermons, his teachings, impacted you and your life?
Okay, the impact is there for everyone to see. I came to Fire Nation Arena jobless. I had no job at the time. I had very little knowledge of spiritual things. So through the sermons, through the ministrations, through the prophecies, through all these combinations of different ministrations that our spiritual father is graced with, I can say I've improved my life. As I said, I was jobless when I came. By God's grace, He spoke into my life that I would find something. And over the years, some doors have opened that some I never even imagined. Some looked far-fetched, some looked like they were just a dream, you know, until they happened. So I can say I'm living proof to the fact that this ministry does change lives. I can say I'm living proof to that.
Wow.
Yes.
There could be somebody who was just glued in today, somebody who may have just watched maybe today, yesterday, or maybe a month or 2 months ago. How do you advise them, or what encouragement do you give them to keep following the man of God through his channel, Fire One TV?
Okay, the encouragement I can give people is, of course, in the beginning, most of us human beings are skeptical when we first stumble across something. But Dr. Elijah Kofi King's ministry is, it's proven, you know. Became part of the ministry. I've seen it firsthand impact lives. I'm just a small portion of the entirety of what this ministry has done. There are countless people whose lives have changed. People's lives have changed in the areas of business, you know. People's lives have changed in the areas of ministry. There are people who walked under his tutelage as ministers, and they are successful, you know. So just in different areas. And aside from that, the primary thing is salvation. And this ministry will give you salvation. This ministry will teach you the undiluted word of the Most High God. And this ministry is honest. Dr. Elijah Kofi King does not beat about the bush. He'll tell you things as they are, but the end game is for your benefit. It's not to embarrass you. It's not to shame you. The end game is for your benefit. So my encouragement to people is that, look, I've proved this ministry, tried and tested ministry, and I'm not the only one. There's so many of people out there, so they can follow our lead and give it a try, and they will not be disappointed.
Wow, thank you so much. Such a powerful experience you've had with the servant of God. We wish to host you again on Fire One TV. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just after the service, how was the service with you?
The service was amazing, I must say. Very touching and inspiring. I learned quite a lot.
Well, our father in the Lord today was ministering about powers from your father's side. How does that service or how does that message impact you today, or how did it impact you today?
Well, it impacted me in a way that, you know, certain times or many times that we are there, you know, just living life and not knowing that there are cases from our forefathers that are following us. And just like he also mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy, also we learned something. And also the story of Reuben, we learned that he was, well, his father said some things that also affected his life and the life of other people because of the sin that he committed. Yeah, so I learned a lot, and it is important that we should always pray that God and break altars. I must say, we have to break altars from. That's why it's very important that we mostly break altars from our forefathers as well, just so we do not, because a curse that is spoken, say for instance, over my life will affect not only me, but it will also affect the generation to come.
Wow. So for how long have you followed the ministry of the servant of God?
I've been following the ministry for quite some time. I think for, let me just say, 4 years now.
4 years?
Yes.
Wow. There could be somebody who has just glued in today, or maybe a week before now, or maybe a month. What advice do you give them, those who watch him and follow him online?
Okay, I'm a living testimony of this ministry and what God of Fire Nation is actually doing. So I will encourage someone to come and see for themselves. I won't want to state what they should expect, but then let them come and see and witness the God of Fire Nation and what he's able to do for their lives, because I am a living testimony. I have seen the glory and the hand of God over my life. The grace that is working in this house is amazing.
Wow, thank you so much. You've shared a wonderful experience. We hope to have you here again. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Wow. Good afternoon, Mom.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Thank you. How's the service?
The service was great.
Wow, it was such an amazing, moment in the presence of God, seeing our Father in the Lord ministering Apostle Dr. Elijah Kofi King, and today he was speaking about powers from my Father's house. How does that service impact your life, like your spiritual life in person?
Well, there are many times we tend to overlook what has happened in the past. But today we saw Papa open our minds and think of things which have broken our foundations, which needed to be mended. It made us reflect on our own lives, from where we come from and what has transpired in our lives, which have brought curses upon us. Yes, it's not only cases from our forefathers, even ourselves. There are things we've done in the past which have brought cases upon our lives.
Wow. For how long have you been under this canopy of grace?
For over 5 years.
Over 5 years. And how have you seen, how positively has this ministry impacted your life?
Wow, I can't start mentioning, but it has really changed my life, the way I look at things. It has really helped me in a lot of things, in my marriage, my children's lives. Yes, and how I tend to look at things and how I respond to situations. Yes, and looking at Daddy, you can see that he's entered into another dimension. Yes, from the time I came here, he's really revealing deep secrets. Yes.
So how do you get to advise, because it's not only us in the embodiments of the church, but there is also others who are watching out there. What advice do you give them as they keep following the ministry of the man of God? Because most of them, they may have joined last year, most of them maybe it's just a week, or some of them it could be the first time they are watching the man of God. What advice do you have for them to glue to Fire One TV?
First and foremost, they shouldn't take the grace for granted. Yes, they should take what he says seriously, because whatever he says, he hears from God directly. And what he says, he does not make it up. It's not for fun. So whoever is joining, they should really hold on to him, and they will see their lives change for the better. Yes.
Amen. No, thank you so much, Mom. We hope to have you soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.